Well, let's get started. Hello and welcome everyone to today's webinar about the introduction to the new akenza. My name is Fabian and I'm the product manager of akenza. When we have a quick look on the agenda, I'm going to explain you what is akenza and why we have built it. You're also going to see the main features at the glance. And last but not least, I give you a product demonstration on our product where you see how easy it is to connect devices. Please also use the chat below here on Zoom. We will have a Q&A session afterwards where you can, where we will answer your incoming questions. So feel free to use this chat window. Now, let's get started. Did you know that around 75% of all IoT projects are failing? And did you also know that around 35% of the IoT projects fail already within the proof of concept phase? So you see, an IoT project is a really complex project. So in the past years, akenza has also learned quite a lot with our customers together, and we're gaining insights how to improve and what to do and what to offer for future IoT projects. And this is the reason why we have built akenza, why we have built the new akenza, that you can focus on what really matters, and we will take care of the rest of the IoT journey. What do we offer with our new product? We're going to offer a really low complexity if it comes to data flow, rule engines, or data visualization, or selection of the device type library. On the other hand, akenza offers you the best-in-class connectivity management, starting with multiple connectivity providers and technologies that we offer to you for your project. But also out from the box, we offer to you a connectivity as a service for LoRaWAN providers. That means you do not need to have your own account. You simply can use the hosted and managed account from akenza if it's a TTN, Swisscom, or a Lorio account. We are enterprise ready. akenza can scale with your desire, with all needed features such as white labeling and highest security standards, and also advanced user managements. Akenza is also for the agnostic. What do we mean by agnostic? We mean by that we are resilient to any changes on the path of an IoT funnel if it comes to changes on the device level or connectivity, cloud, or application level. We are always adaptable and resilient to those changes. Let's have a look how we understand our ecosystem of akenza. What you see on the left-hand side, there are multiple connectivity providers and technologies where we are able to integrate. So it does not really matter how your device communicates to the cloud. We will be able to integrate that into akenza. On akenza itself, we provide you a device and connectivity management, including data processing, but also various connectors and data storage that you're able to get some historical data out from the box. On top of the akenza infrastructure, we do have the feature of a rule engine, and a rule engine is meant as to apply a business logic for incoming data of your IoT project. That means, for example, if a certain threshold is reached, you're able to process those data further into an application. Those applications, after the REST API on the right-hand side seen on this chart, can be various applications of your choice, whether it is a custom application or a standardized application such as Grafana, but also different analytic and AI services, but also being able to integrate those data into the ERP or CRM system of your project. When we have a brief look on our main features, this is the page with our features at the glance, starting with the connectivity management, but proceeding with no-code data flow and the rule engine, and also the advanced user management. So on the next 4 slides, I'd like to share a few words about those main features we are introducing on our new akenza platform. When it comes to the connectivity management, as mentioned before, every project is quite individual, depends on the connectivity provider or some desires that you have, that you want to have a specific provider or a specific protocol to follow because you have some hardware which needs to apply on that. That means we support different connectivities that you do not need to think about whether if it's possible to integrate or not. We are there to make it possible for you. On the other hand, we provide you the connectivity as a service, which is, as mentioned, a hosted and managed LoRaWAN accounts from Swisscom, L'Oreal, and TTN. At this moment, more to come, that enables you to integrate your LoRaWAN device immediately without having an account from such a provider. That also means the whole invoicing and all this stuff that goes managed through akenza. Let's have a look on the data flow. What is a data flow? With a data flow is meant as processing the data chain. You define literally where the data go along to. You start with defining a device connector, which is the connectivity technology of your choice. You proceed with a device type to parse the payload. And there we offer to you an extensive device type library with more than 100 device types, which are most used on the IoT market. So you are able to just select your device type and then proceed to the output connector. If you wouldn't find your device type, you also have the possibility to customize your own device type. And this is going to take place on a second webinar we're going to introduce, as it is another topic where we want to have a closer look on it. When it comes to the output connectors, you define here where the data go along to, whether they go to the akenza database, or you want to trigger an email, or you want to process the data further via a webhook. Let's have a look on the rule engine. As mentioned before, what is a rule engine? A rule engine is a feature on our product that allows you to apply a business logic to your infrastructure. So if a certain threshold is reached, if, for example, a certain temperature is reached, it allows you to trigger this action when it's needed and when it applies to your condition that you're setting up on the rule. Those data are then processed once this rule gets triggered, either also to the akenza database or processed via webhook or created as an email or as an SMS. Last but not least, the fourth feature. Let's have a quick look on the advanced user management. This is a feature where akenza has heard those multiple desires from customers from the last few years to have a more fine-grained permission right for individual users on a customer project. It is also known as a role-based access control. So what does it mean? It means that you as an organization administrator have the possibility to give fine-grained permissions to your colleagues within an organization or a workspace. You will learn straight away after what an organization and the workspace is and how it looks structure-wise. So that was it about the slide part. Let's get started with the product demo and learn how easy it is to integrate a LoRa device, but also an HTTP device. When we have a look on our product, this is the view that you have on the organization overview. An organization, as a quick explanation, can be the name, for example, of your company. So in this example, we have chosen the name of akenza. It is the akenza office of our space. On the organization overview, you have multiple details about your organization. You also have the possibility to see the workspaces which belongs to your organization. You also can manage here your users, as briefly introduced before about the advanced user management, and give your colleagues individual roles, whether he is a member, a viewer, or an editor. Also, the asset overview gives you, a complete overview of all integrated assets in your organization. When it comes to the workspace level, you can see it as a workspace that always belongs to organization. That also means you can have multiple workspaces that belong to one specific organization. And that also helps you to manage your multiple IoT projects. If, for example, you as a company have multiple projects or multiple areas, outdoor areas or building names, you can set this up on the individual workspace. So let's have a look on this workspace structure here. I have chosen the office at the Regina Kägi Street in Zurich, where we are located. In here, we have set up multiple devices which are feeding real-time data and that we see as a playground and a good demonstration purpose on here. So let's get started with the creation of a Lora device first. As a Lora device, I have selected here the MultiSense device from Swisscom that allows you identifying multiple data points, such as the service on demand. If you click the button, you get sent a topic, but you also have a humidity or temperature or vibration sensor inside this tiny little box. So what to do, how to integrate a Lora device at fastest speed. The first question is whether you want to integrate your LoRaWAN integration account, if you have one. If so, you go to integrations and you have the possibility to select one of those to integrate your account. Once your account is integrated, all your assets will be synchronized immediately, and it does not need any double handling anymore on the other account. So it is synchronized and you can manage your whole fleet on akenza itself. If you want to make use of the connectivity as a service I have briefly explained before, you can start directly with creating your data flow. So therefore, you go to data flow, you start with the creation, and as we have LoRaWAN device, you choose the connectivity LoRaWAN on here. On here, we do offer the Lorio integration, Swisscom LPN, or the Things network. In our example, we're going to choose the Swisscom connectivity. And now we step one forward to the device type library. And as briefly explained before, we have an extensive device type library, which is still growing the coming months to have it even bigger to suit your project. With the device field, I search now for the MultiSense device. I see here multiple device types as we have multiple topics communicated from this device. In this example, I'm going to choose the general device type as all those sensors are available on this device type. And here I'm going to define that I want to process the data into the akenza database. So I'm going to save this data flow and I give a name. I say this is a Lora data flow for the webinar of today. And we say this is a test as an optional description. You proceed with creating this data flow, and now you see it here created in it. Once you have created the data flow for this device, you're ready now to create the device itself. So therefore, you jump to asset inventory. On asset inventory, you go to create data, create the device, and we say here this is a multi-sense device of the webinar of the 15th of April. Also a description here, which is optional. It just gives you further explanation about your device that you integrate. Now you're able here to select the data flow of your choice. And as we just have created the data flow for the multi-sense, it will pop up here as we have just created that. It is the Lora data flow webinar of today. So once this is selected, you proceed with it. And now you need to insert the EUI and the application key. So therefore, we're going to integrate that on here, copy that out quickly, the app EUIE, and last but not least, also the application key. Then proceeding further with choosing the device class and your LoRaWAN version. You also need to dedicate here what motion indicator you want to have. We say it's the near static one, and you proceed with create device. And now you see our device created, which is just now available on the asset inventory. So this shows you how straightforward it is. I also would like to show you now one sensor which is feeding some real-time data for the past few weeks already, which is, for example, here, the global SAT device. What you see here is the data overview page. Well, on the data overview page, you get different insights about your device. If it's a LoRa device, you see on the upper level part here, all the displayed metadata of your device. Within data overview, you see incoming real-time data with the accurate topic, which is displayed here. And if we go a bit down on here, you see the history chart. And the history chart gives you some freedom to understand what values your device has detected on the last hours, days, weeks, or even months. So by choosing the time range selector here and going to weeks, you are able to jump from 1 week to the other and see the incoming data here. Depends on the number of data. It might be too confusing if you have too many data available in here. So you easily can hide and unhide that on those blocks to make it nicely visible on the history chart. If we go back here on the connectivity details, you see multiple and various connectivity details which might be of your interest. If you go further down, this is another cool feature we have implemented about the signal strength. So on this diagram, it tells you how the signal strength was on which particular date. And that can also be quite helpful if you want to get this insight or if you are troubleshooting on your installation. Under message logs, you are able to see the incoming data with the timestamp together. API configuration, you see all the details needed to configure that. Or also under downlinks, you are able to configure your device with sending a downlink to your device by entering here a payload hex string, choosing the port, and send this appropriate message to your device to configure that. That was it about the insight how to integrate a Lora device. But now I also want to show you how it looks like if we integrate, for example, an HTTP device. And to prove that, as I don't have an HTTP device on my desk, I also invite you to look on our device simulator on our product documentation that you can find under docs.akenza.io. So why did we create a device simulator? We did it exactly out of this purpose, that you as a user have the freedom to test and play out with a akenza platform without having a physical device on your desk. So what does it need? It is all stated here. It needs a data flow where you select the device simulator and we process the data to the akenza database. And once this is set and you have created your HTTP device, you are able to play around here with those data values and then send it via the uplink URL. So let's get started with creating the HTTP device. You can start straight away with, again, creating the data flow. On the data flow, instead of the LoRaWAN connectivity, I choose now the HTTP connectivity. And I say here, my new HTTP connectivity is a new HTTP webinar test connectivity. I save that probably with the date that we have it consistent as the other. I save this connector and I proceed here to the device type library. Normally with a HTTP device, you can select pass-through, that you forward the data without any changes. On here for the device simulator, we have created this nice small device simulator device type that you can select and now combine it together with the akenza database. Also here, we proceed with giving a name. It is a HTTP data flow on the webinar of today. And it is also a test as it's on a test purpose. Now I'm gonna create this data flow. It is stored already on here, quite above the Lora data flow that we have done before. And also here, the same step is to proceed with creating the device of your HTTP device. So therefore, we say this one is a HTTP device on today's webinar. Also here, it is a test. And selecting the data flow shows you now this created data flow that we just have done 30 seconds ago, which is this one here. On here, you get asked to generate a random ID, which makes your ID then unique for your device, and you proceed with creating the device. And now you see we have it started immediately and available on the asset inventory. So now the next step will be how to send data to this HTTP device out from our product documentation simulator tool. Therefore, you choose the uplink URL of your device, you copy this URL, and now we are ready to implement that here on the uplink URL. And here I want to send, for example, a bit lower degrees, 21. The work desk is probably occupied and the CO2 level has lower numbers, for example. And now you are ready to send this message to your device. Now going back to the device detail page, we need to see here under the message logs the incoming data, which was just the case at 2:22, which is pretty much right now. You see the incoming data that we just have sent. This is now the way how to prove that your device is connected and up running now with the device simulator test. Now I can give you another example of how to use our rule engine. If you remember, I was briefly explaining that the rule engine can be used to apply a business logic to your infrastructure. On here, now we can create the case that I want to create an email if a certain threshold of a temperature is reached. For example, with 32 degrees. Yeah. So let's get started with creating this rule with my HTTP device. What you see here on the overview, we work also just not on the data flow, but also on the rule level with this 3-column structure. You define your input, you define the logic block, and you define the action that needs to be taken on this specific rule. So to do that, you're going to add as an input your device, and it's the device we just have created. It is a HTTP device of today's webinar. And you're going to process one step forward to the condition block. To have the appropriate topics on your data source here, you need to combine the input block with the logic block. And now on the data source 1, you see already those values which are shared from your device. Yeah, those are also here, the colored boxes. So we have occupancy, temperature, and the CO2 level. As I want to show you the example with the temperature, I'm going to choose here the data value of the temperature. And now I'm ready to add the intelligence to this rule. You can do that with creating the condition. And the condition says if the data source 1 temperature is, for example, bigger or equal than the constant level of, let's say, 22 degrees, then send a certain action to it. And in today's webinar, I want to send an email, for example. So to do that, I'm going to add the action as an email. The action name will be, it is a temperature alert. The mail address, I take here my business mail address. And I say the subject is also temperature alert. And in the body text is, please check your site. Temperature alert, for example. You're going to save that and you're going to combine it to your condition. And now this path from the device to the logic block to the action block is set. And now the cool thing is that you also can communicate the actual value which was detected from your device. So that means you go back to your email and you say, well, I want to add here the payload data by using such a syntax, for example. Yeah. So therefore, I'm going to open this tab and I see here different topics which are communicated. I'm going to choose the data temperature. And I also use that here below. Temperature alert, we say it is X data degrees. Please check your site. Let's save the rule like this and finish it here. I give this is a rule on the webinar of today. And yes, also this one here is a test. And I'm gonna set up the rule. So the rule is also visible with all the other rules we have created already here on the rule overview. And now let's try out whether I'm gonna get an email if I put up the temperature level, for example, on 32, 31, whatever degrees, changing some data here. It doesn't make any changes on the rule, but it's just changing the incoming data of your device. Now we're going to send again the uplink URL with those information. We jump back first till the email is received. We can have a look on the HTTP device, whether we have incoming data. Here, for example, the upper log, which came in at 2:31, which is pretty much right now. And also, let's check my email that you can see here on my mailbox that the mail just came in. Please check your site. The temperature alert is 32 degrees. Yeah, so that was it about the product demonstration. Now you have seen how easy it is to integrate a Lora device that we have done as an example with the multisense, but also with the device simulator out from our product documentation with simulating an HTTP device. Well, now it's your turn. You are more than welcome to try out our akenza. We offer to you a 30-day free trial that you can find under akenza.io. And please also, you are more than welcome to leave a comment on LinkedIn with the hashtag akenza-iot platform. And then you will have the big chance to win such a multisense, and we will send it to your door. We are already on the Q&A session. I assume we had some incoming questions on the chat, and I'm looking forward to have this exchange and to answer on your questions. There, I see at the moment two questions. One is, how can we connect other connectivity technologies like cellular technologies to akenza platform? Do you see any gateway? Yeah, we do have experience with the integration of cellular technologies. So therefore, we are more than happy to get in touch with you, Vishnu, and discuss that further. But yes, technically, this is feasible and was done also on other projects. There was another question coming in also from Vishnu. He is asking, how is this platform differ from the Azure IoT and AWS IoT platforms? Well, let's say the biggest change or the biggest difference that we see on our platform is the really fast and smooth integration of LoRaWAN providers, connectivities, and those devices. And what I know in my experience, this is not as fast and as smooth on competitor platforms, but for sure it's also a competitor, and yeah, keeping an eye on that anyway. But we are confident that we have the integration process made really smooth and smoother than other providers. There is one more other question, which is it possible to connect more than one device to the same rule? And likewise, to set up multiple logics and actions for the same device in one rule? Yeah, you are completely right. For sure, this is possible. It's just no part of this webinar, as it's really just the fundamentals of our product. But you are absolutely right. This is possible. We are able to integrate just one or also multiple devices, as you can give certain device tags and defining like groups to have the same rule applied to multiple devices. And also the other question from you was about having multiple conditions on the condition block of a rule. And yes, also this is possible. You can make this rule as long as you want. And if you are there suddenly on the limit, you're also invited to try out our upcoming custom rule that allows you to script by your own the rule logic to have this appropriate rule which fits your project. There was one other question coming in from Dominic. If I understood it well, akenza offers an extra layer between an existing LNS and the application. Can it be an LNS directly? Yeah, you understood it completely right. Akenza is a middleware IoT platform that has different connectors towards different connectivities and implementing different protocols, but also having multiple output connectors where we are able to feed individual systems and third-party applications, depends on the customer need. There was one question coming in from Gavardo. Can you provide LoRaWAN connectivity in Europe? Yeah, we do. Can that? You will have one more integration provider coming up quite soon, and even more integration providers coming up in the next coming months. So you will be able to have also those connectivity services in Europe. There was one question from Mario. Are in the free trial version all functions available? Yes, that was really our intention and our desire to offer you full functions to try out akenza at its best. So you are therefore invited to, make the most out of it within the 30 days and, try out the product with all features that you just have seen. Some feature limitations can be viewed under akenza.io, where we have our pricing plans, where you can select within 3 different pricing plans. Depends on your needs and the features you need to have. There was another question from Charles, besides Swisscom, how to integrate other integrations, telco providers. Let's discuss that directly, but generally it is possible to have also other providers integrated. For sure, it's also always related to the project need and whether the customer is requiring such an integration. But technically, yes, we can integrate that into akenza. There was another question coming in from Vishnu. How do you charge using your platform? Is it depends on the number of device connections, or is it like a complete software package? It is the first that you're mentioning. You will get invoiced by device. So it depends on the number of devices you have integrated and which are feeding data on akenza. You get invoiced on a 30-day section where you get the automatical invoice sent to you. This is also made as a self-service tool, as we have implemented the entire billing process, where you can insert your credit card details and getting the invoice automatically sent to you on this monthly basis. There was one question coming in from Serafino. How can you or own IoT devices be integrated in akenza? This is really up to the connectivity of your IoT device. I assume you talk here about a LoRaWAN device. Then I propose to you that you use our connectivity as a service, as akenza is hosting and managing those accounts, and you do not need to have the hassle with another account management or other invoicing processes, you can integrate those LoRaWAN devices by choosing on the shown example with L'Oreal, Swisscom, or the TTN. There was one other question coming in from Farshid. Hi, Fabian, how are you considering to get Sigfox? Sigfox is definitely on our roadmap. We will have the Sigfox integration coming summer, and you will be able to, enter the world of Sigfox. At the moment, I do not see any other questions. There was one coming in now more from Gavardo, customer-facing backend. How does it akenza does it? Well, this is up to the project requirements and up to, pretty much up to the requirements that you desire. We do offer some customized application UIs that the customer is asking for really specific IoT projects. So if you desire to do so, please get in touch with us, and we are really happy to support you on the end application. There was another question coming in from Michael. He's asking, is it possible to access devices, sensors remotely, reverse tunneling or VPC? At the moment, you do need access to the akenza platform. We do have a mobile version in mind. More information will follow there. At the moment, you do need access to your devices and to the platform. There was one other question coming in from Mark. Will nb-iot be supported soon? It's not on our roadmap at the moment, but also here, Mark, we are more than happy to discuss that if it's a desire of the customer or of you. So please, let's keep in touch and let's discuss feasible possibilities with the nb-iot support. All right, I think we can stop it here. I hope I was able to answer most of your questions. Other than that, we are more than happy to support. Please get in contact with us if you have further questions. Drop us an email to ask@akenza.io or also visit our website and try out our free trial. It would be really our pleasure to go with you on your own IoT journey and support you to its best. I hope you enjoyed the webinar. We hope you enjoyed the product demonstration, and we also hope that you got some valuable insights, what is possible and what is able to do with akenza. Nothing more to say apart from thank you very much. Have a really good day. It was my great pleasure. And let's keep in touch. Have a good day. Thank you very much. Bye.